Semliki Safari Lodge is situated in Semliki Valley Game Reserve and is the only accommodation in over 500 square kilometers of wilderness, offering a truly private experience. With Semliki Safari Lodge, you have the whole valley to yourself. This award-winning lodge is the only lodge in the entire Semliki Valley.
Good, how are you?
Nice to
Welcome
meet you.
to Semliki.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to see it.
Yes, very happy to have you here, finally.
Thank you. I know.
Please come through.
So I noticed that on this side is the savanna that you talk about.
Yes, it's all savanna gardens. We've got a little water hole right over there.
Oh, lovely.
So in the evenings, often we've got the water bucks coming to drink.
Oh, really?
The baboons, the vervet monkeys.
Right in your back garden.
Right in the back garden, which is really great.
Wow, this is really mind-blowing. It's like savanna on one side and forest on the other.
Open to the elements on one side, at Semliki, you really feel like you are touching the wild. The main lodge is a large, comfortable living space where guests converge to watch the sunset, listen to stories, and gather around the massive hand-hewn tables to share experiences of the day.
Have a look. This is our beautiful forest down here. We've got the Wassa River flowing by.
Okay. So I love the infrastructure here. I almost can't tell if I'm indoors or outdoors.
Yes, this is exactly what we're trying to do here. So you're inside, but you always get the feeling of being outside.
Exactly.
All our structures are made out of locally sourced wood. All the thatch roofs are made by local people from the area. The thatchers are also from the area. And in fact, a lot of our staff were part of the building in the early days, like 17 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And so they were part of the team when they were building it, and then afterwards they were trained in all the different departments for the lodge, which is really great.
So Semliki Lodge has been open for 17 years?
Yes.
Wow, that's a long time.
It is, it is. Semliki is a really personal experience. So we eat with our guests. Everybody eats like
you
in
eat
a
with
family.
The guests? Oh,
yes.
That's great. So all the guests dine
All the
here?
guests dine here.
That's great.
Yes, which is really nice.
And I love the paintings here. Well, who is that done by?
It's done by Tagai.
Oh.
Do you know?
I do know him, actually.
He's a famous artist from Kampala,
Yes.
right?
He's great.
He's very good.
While at the lodge, you may choose to do nothing more than just relax by the pool, which overlooks the Mogiri River forest and has a backdrop of the fabled mountains of the moon in the distance.
This is gorgeous. It feels like a human waterhole.
It's exactly what it is.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes we even have the monkeys that come and they drink from the pool.
Oh, gosh. So it's not just for humans.
It's not just for humans. Birds come and have a splash sometimes.
Oh, lovely. Well, I can't wait to come and take a dip myself and join in with the monkeys and hopefully not snakes.
Yes. But before you go there, let me show you your room.
Oh, yes,
and then you
I'm
can
excited.
get settled and then have a dip in the
Great.
pool. Excellent.
Semliki was built in the grand old safari tradition with canvas tents under thatched roofs. But this is far from camping. Staying under canvas is one of the most romantic and exciting things to do on safari in Africa. You hear the sounds, you feel the wind, you even smell the rain before it comes.
Here we go. This is your home for the next few nights.
This is beautiful.
Yes, all natural structure. Being in a tent without camping on the floor. Right?
Especially for people like me who are scared of camping.
The tents are protected by a thick thatch roof and feature ensuite bathrooms with running water, hot showers, and flush toilets. Each has a veranda overlooking wonderful views of mountains and savanna, forest, and river valley.
The material used, is this again also local?
It's all local Katengi, traditional.
Lovely.
We're trying to get the local
I love that.
style in.
That's
After all,
great.
we are in Uganda, right?
Exactly.
And what people love a lot, you wake up in the morning and you're not closed in, so you still look outside, you see through the windows, and you've got the forest right out.
And it's
on
just
your
the mesh
doorstep.
preventing these monkeys from joining you inside the bed?
Yes, and the mosquitoes, so
yes.
no creatures,
Wow.
no insect coming in. Here's the bathroom. All our showers are lit with solar, so it's all hot showers with a nice solar system, which works really well.
This is exactly the way I like to camp. Hot water in a bed.
Yes.
But thank you so much for showing me around.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I'm so happy to have you here again.
Yes.
And we'll see you over there in a little bit. Please make yourself feel home.
I certainly will.
Excellent.
It won't be hard in a room like this.
Okay. See you later. Thanks, Kemi. Bye-bye.
Staying at Semiliki is like stepping back in time. It evokes the spirit of the old explorers, it piques curiosity and inspires discovery. At Semiliki, you can set out to walk and pursue a connection with nature. Taking Kemi on this little adventure is Simon, a guide from the Semiliki Lodge.
So Simon, what can we expect to see today?
We may see chimps.
Some chimps?
Some chimps, yeah. Then calabash monkeys, the black and white.
Okay.
Red-tailed monkeys. Then the first there are some buffaloes, forest buffaloes, and then elephants as well.
So typically, how often do you do this walk, and how often do you get to see the chimps?
It depends by luck,
Yeah.
It is usually lucky. We can just come in the forest and then walk a short distance, then we see chimps. But sometimes we have struggle, walk a longer distance, and then we find nothing. So it depends with luck.
Okay.
In conjunction with Indiana University, the Lodge is running a chimpanzee research project in the Semiliki forest.
So I know you're doing some chimpanzee research around here.
Yes.
What does that involve?
Kind of how chimps behave, type of the food they eat, yeah, all those.
So what are some of the findings that have been found from this research?
That have been found that the chimps of this place,
Yes.
they're not the same as of Chivale.
How come?
These one have got different behaviors. When they come to drink water to the river, they
Yes.
don't drink straight from the river.
Okay.
They have to dig a well,
Yes.
something they dug a well. After digging a well, then they use leaves, the sponge leaves, then just put leaves in the water, then they drink from the leaves. Chimps feed on Sabaphorida fruits. This one,
Yes.
these are fruits of Sabaphorida, so they feed on these a lot. They're like personal fruits.
Inside?
They're like personal fruits. Inside there's some seeds. They just use their teeth to break it, and then they remove the seeds from inside.
Is this particular to the chimps that live here, or all chimps? Because I know you mentioned that one of the things they're finding out in the research is that the chimps here act a little bit different.
It seems from all the chimps.
Okay.
All the chimps, yeah.
In our search for these chimpanzees, we run into Luke, one of the researchers.
Simon was just telling me about you and your research.
That's right. I research chimpanzees for the Semiliki Chimpanzee Project.
Yeah.
I just came back from seeing them this morning.
Oh, you saw some this morning?
I did, yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're up the trail about 1.5 kilometers.
Okay.
At least they were. They were feeding and resting and grooming. There were 4 males.
Yes.
And once they got done feeding and resting, they went down to the ground. And just quiet as a shadow, they moved into the savannah, and that's when I lost them.
Oh, and they're gone.
That's right,
Oh,
but that's
I thought you were
okay.
going to tell me where to find them.
They'll be back later. Maybe if you stick around in the forest for a while, you'll see them resting and eating again.
So how long have you been doing this research?
I've been here for 2.5 months now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Well, before we let you continue on your trail, can you tell us one exciting thing about chimpanzees you've just found out in your 2.5 months?
When the big alpha male comes down from the tree, all the subordinates are just like, because they're afraid, they don't want to get hurt, and then just all the other interactions that they have together. And the fact that I get to spend, up at least at like an average of 3 hours a day with them.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to cut into that 3.5 hours, but thank you so much for stopping and talking a little bit about your research.
Yeah, no problem.
Hopefully we'll be lucky as you are.
I hope you are. All right, good
All
luck.
right, thank you very much.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to see any chimpanzees, but luckily, we got to catch sight of some vervet monkeys. After a long walk in the forest, Kemi sat down for a little chat with Fraser, the manager of the Semiliki Safari Lodge.
Thank you, Fraser, for sitting down and talking with me today.
It's my great pleasure. It's great to have you here.
So what is one of the things that attracted you to Semiliki to come and work here?
Well, I've been traveling to Uganda since 1997.
Oh, wow.
I was doing a lot of wildlife guiding, and so I knew I loved the country.
What's one of your favorite things about Semiliki Lodge?
I guess one of my favorite things is that just behind us here, the River Wassa, there's often forest elephants or chimpanzees in the forest down here. And sometimes in the morning I wake up and the first thing I hear is chimpanzees screech shooting in the forest or elephants trumpeting. And then I know I'm in a cool place.
So what are some of the activities that Semiliki Lodge offers their guests?
We've got a wide range of activities and we're developing more as we go. The classics are morning game drives, walks in the bush, nature walks. We do evening game drives, night game drives, go out and have sundowners in the bush, spotlighting for nocturnal animals. Chimpanzee tracking, going out trying to find the chimpanzees that live here, savanna chimpanzees, which are very special. And then another great attraction in the reserve is the northern part of the reserve is on the shores of Lake Albert, and there's a big swamp there which is home to the shoebill. And certainly for birders, that's one of the most important birds to seek out.
What makes this shoebill bird so special amongst the rest?
The shoebill is very hard to see in most places. So even though Uganda doesn't have the most shoebills in the world, they've certainly got the most accessible shoebill in the world. I've got a number of birding tours to Uganda, and always, when everyone arrives in the country, they're like, "Are we going to see the shoebill?" Yeah.
I noticed there's this great mixture between the savanna and forest habitat. Can you talk more about that and how this makes this lodge very unique to its other lodges in Uganda?
Yeah, what's fantastic about Semiliki is that there's two major river systems and then a gorge, the Nyaburugu, the Wassa and the Mugiri. And all of those, in those river valleys, you get this really dense, beautiful forest. So in those forests, we get a lot of forest species and the forest habitat. And then literally right next to that, you're out on these open savanna grasslands and savanna woodlands where you find the species typical of that. So one moment you can be out in the savanna and you can take 10 steps and be under the forest canopy. And you can continue doing that through a drive or a walk. So that makes it very diverse biologically and then also very interesting on the eye.
What would you say is your favorite thing about working here at Semiliki?
Being in this environment. That's why we're here. We love these wild places. It's very beautiful, and having our guests come and share that with us is always very, very rewarding. Yeah.
If you could describe Semiliki in 3 words, what would they be?
Wild, wild, wild.
Thank you very much, Fraser, for taking the time to talk with me.
Cool. It's a great pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Semiliki is also well known for its night game drives that help you spot nighttime dwellers. The nighttime game drive is preceded by a romantic sundowner where you can view the African sun retire behind the mountains to a well-deserved cocktail. The skies glow with vivid hues as the wildlife activity peaks before the quiet of night falls over the bush, bringing with it the uncertainty of darkness. Driving into the unknown is an exhilarating experience, holding the possibility of surprising wildlife encounters with the strange and new animals of nighttime. Moving through the bush, your senses come alive as you listen out for movement nearby and pick up on the strange calls of the night. These Land Rover Defenders that are owned by the lodge can literally take on any terrain. There's nowhere that the animals go that we can't follow. There's something to be said for being in a place where the animals hide themselves. Instead of trying to complete some absurd checklist, Kemi allowed her other senses leeway and enjoyed the drive through the lush savannah. On her way back to the lodge though, Kemi caught sight of a full-grown python. It was at least 5 meters long. Now that was creepy. Guests at the Semiliki can enjoy scrumptious meals throughout the day and an incredible 3-course candlelit dinner every night while listening to the magical sounds of Africa. Kemi sat down with Chef Patrick, the head chef at the Semiliki Safari Lodge. Tonight, he made something special just for her.
Oh, wow. This looks amazing. So let's talk about this meal right in front of us. What have you prepared?
Today I've prepared fillet steak.
Okay.
It's grilled. It is marinated with olive oil, garlic, and fresh herbs from our garden. It's my favorite. I like cooking it.
Is it your favorite to cook or to eat?
Cooking and eating.
Both.
Because when I cook, even for myself, I can't live even a single potato.
Well, let's not keep you away from your own food, and let's not keep me away from your food. Let's dig in.
It took him 45 minutes to make this beautiful meal, 20 minutes for marinating and 25 for cooking.
And what did you marinate it in?
Garlic, olive oil, salt, and pepper.
So all this took 45 minutes?
Yes.
I'm sure if I
Because
tried
I
it, it
already-
would take me an hour and a half.
Because I don't want someone to starve on the table. So the food is delaying.
So where did you train to be a chef?
I trained from Emin Pasha Hotel.
Oh, at Emin Pasha itself. And what
Yes.
made you want to train to be a chef?
John Oliver, I used to watch him on TV, and everybody was really happy with that man. They said, even me one time, I think I'll become like that man.
So what can we expect for dessert?
Dessert, we're expecting fresh mangoes in mango and lime sorbet.
So how did you make the sorbet?
I blended them, then with some sugar, glucose, and lemon. As you can even see, you can feel the taste. There's some lemon. Then after blending everything together, I put in the freezer.
Well, thank you so much for your lovely meal and taking the time to talk with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
A perfect meal to end a perfect day. Kemi was ready to retire to her tent under the bright blanket of the stars. Semiliki Safari Lodge is certainly not your typical lodge. The entire lodge is covered with primarily wooden accents, exposing a rustic yet contemporary and unpretentious persona. Every chalet is hidden within a khaki-colored tent made of canvas, set atop a rubble of stones and shrouded in wooden furnishings. There is no escaping the outdoors in this lodge because every nook and cranny is heavily prenatal and breathing with wildlife, plant, and animal alike. And the cherry on the cake is certainly the night game drive. In an almost cinematic turn, all your senses will be heightened. Every smell and sound is accentuated with a strong mask of nature and jungle fantasies. The Semiliki Safari Lodge will truly bring out the explorer in you.